2.0, signing up of warrants, they are coming around. 3.0, adjustments to the agenda, we do have a few, so if you will bear with me for a moment. 5.0 public comment is going to now be our 8.0, and our 8.0 new business is going to be our 5.0, which will mean that 8.1 is now 5.1, 8.2 is now 5.2, 8.3 is now 5.3, 8.4 is now 5.4, and 8.5 is now 5.5. Yes. Oh. Thank you. Now that we have adjustments to the agenda taken care of, we will move to 4.0, approval of the minutes.
None at this time.
We don't have any right now. Thank you. So 5.0, new business. 5.1, consider the proposed 2025-2026 school budget round 2, which is a 0.43 mil recommendation. So the 4.3 mil recommendation is considered no changes. So we do have no changes, meaning that there will be no eliminations in staff. 4.3, there are some cost centers that we have found money that we could save. I believe Mark was that a little bit out of legal, maybe. I don't remember where all of the different cuts were. I know we'll discuss that at our budget meeting in July, but effectively, the 4.3 results in no staff cuts. Do I have a motion? Is there a second? Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 5.2 was originally the position eliminations for the proposed budget that we came up with 2 weeks ago, I believe. And in light of hearing what the public had to say, we have gone back to the drawing board and looked at how can we maneuver different cost centers. While this isn't a flat budget, it is less than the 0.54 that we originally presented and was voted down. So 0.43 is the mill recommendation for this next round. And I want to say a few words before we move on to 5.3. I want to begin by acknowledging the recent outcome of the public referendum, where the proposed school budget was unfortunately voted down. We recognize that budget decisions weigh heavily on our entire community, our taxpayers, our families, staff, but most importantly, our students. In response, the RSU 39 school board closely re-examined the numbers. We initially considered reducing our budget from $287,000 to $45,000, essentially a flat budget compared to the previous year. This was a sincere effort to respond to the concerns voiced by voters by voting down the referendum. However, after thorough analysis and discussion, it became clear that such a significant reduction would result in staffing cuts and have a direct and negative impact on the quality of education and services we are able to provide. Maintaining our current level of staffing is essential to uphold the high standards of education our students deserve. Eliminating staff is neither responsible nor sustainable option. Therefore, the school board has decided to maintain a budget request of approximately $227,143. This is not a rigid stance, but rather a realistic one that reflects what it truly takes to operate our schools effectively and equitably. It is also important to clarify that these numbers represent only the RSU 39 budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. The city of Caribou operates on a different fiscal year, which creates a half-year overlap. This means that half of the RSU 39 voter-approved budget from 2024 to 2025 school year is also reflected in your city's current tax bills. We share this to help the public better understand how school budget timelines and funding impact local taxes. We respectfully ask our community to reconsider this revised budget proposal with the understanding that it is about protecting the integrity of our schools, preserving the jobs of our dedicated educators and staff, and most importantly, securing the future of our students. Thank you for your time, your thoughtful consideration, and your continued support of our schools. That brings us to 5.3, Warrant to call Regional School Union number 39 budget meeting.
I move that we call a regional school unit number 39 budget meeting on July 1st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. at the Caribou Performing Arts Center.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Warrant and notice of election calling regional school unit budget validation referendum.
I move that we call an election on regional school unit budget validation referendum on July 8th, 2025.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. And then 5.5, our next meeting, which was just discussed by Jan. Public budget meeting will be July 1st, 2025, where we go through this process again, just as we did in May. All public invited to come. It will be detailed where the difference between the 0.54 that we voted on last time is now the 0.43. That will be detailed on which cost centers were affected, and then voted on by the public. So we do invite you, please come to that meeting. And then our next regular meeting will be July 9. I don't believe we have any district reports at this time. So, and I don't believe we have any old business at this time. Okay, that brings us now to our new 8.0, which is public comment. Thank you. We will start with Milo Meany.
Okay. Can you tell me what the budget was last year? I had 23,444,101, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the budget that started out this year was 24,920, 112, 24 million?
I'm getting it, no, again, I don't have those numbers right in front of me.
That's been revised. It's now $24,885.53. $24,885,053.21.
Okay. So that's the budget for right now you're proposing for us to vote on the 8th.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, in my understanding that we have 1,155 students.
I'm sorry, say that again.
My understanding that we have 1,155 students that were coming to the school. Right?
Yes, that's correct.
Does that figure out 24,000 some odd dollars per student that you guys are asking for? 24,000, is that about right?
I would, no, it's not enough per student. What was it, Mr. Handy, you said for the amount?
Well, I'm just rough numbers, 24,000.
So- Keep in mind that the $24,885,000, $885,053, that is just the, that doesn't include our revenues. That's the expense.
Correct.
Right, so there's the expense, so it is not $25,000. You have the amount for people expenditures, I want to say 17,
17, 8, 12. for-
19,000 per student.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can give you that exact number, I don't believe I have it in this packet, but it's more than average.
Now, when we voted on, okay, when we voted on the new school, I asked.
Turned it off.
Huh?
Turn it off.
When we voted on this, the new school, I was here and I voted and I asked the question. And I was told, many others asked the question too, this was supposed to come down, not go up. And every year now, since that school's been built, it's been going up. And the students are getting less. There's a problem here somewhere.
We are getting into a lot of the nitty gritty that's going to be and can be asked at the budget meeting. This typically isn't a back and forth conversation, and I appreciate you coming and having questions to better understand. What I'll leave you with though, unless you have something further to state, not necessarily ask, is that yes, the building was to save money. We could probably predict or project what it would have cost right now if we still had 2, 3 old buildings that we were operating in. Yes, the cost is going up, but it is not nearly the amount as it would be with 3 decrepit buildings. If you have something else though for a statement, Mr. Meany, please feel free to say that, but for other questions regarding the budget, I do ask you save those for our budget meeting coming up.
Okay, the question I'm gonna have in this, supposedly you cut some down for this next election. What did you exactly cut?
That will be detailed at the budget meeting.
So we can't ask that question tonight.
I can get you that information and we can send it to you, no problem at all. But at this time, that detail will be provided at the budget meeting. We have to get through this process first to even have a next budget meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tracy Akerson, Carol? You're good? Thank you very much. Stephanie Raymond?
I just have a few words that I'd like to share. My position was one of the positions that was projected to be cut. And so I do have some papers that went around. I would just like to share that in the nurse's office for RSU 39, this past year, we saw approximately 28,895 face-to-face encounters with students, including the students that were returned to class, that we were able to keep in school, students that we sent home, mental health challenges, staff that we saw, immunization clinics, dental visits, dealing medications, as needed medications, vision and hearing screens, medication drop-offs, managing our diabetic students and emergency care. And that was all with 3 nurses. 56 of those visits accounted for summer school last summer. Last school year, the year 23-24, there was approximately 20,343 face-to-face encounters. And that was with 4 nurses and 1 secretary for RSU 39. 45 of those visits accounted for summer school. The year before, there was 26,824 face-to-face encounters. And the year before that, 27,786 face-to-face encounters. That also includes COVID tests. 30 of those visits accounted for summer school. So what I'd like to point out is this is an anxious generation that we have. It is not predicted to get any better. Mental health challenges and crises are on the rise, and we cannot do more with less. RSU 39 went from having 4 nurses and 1 secretary in previous years down to 3 nurses this past school year. So how can 2 nurses support more than 30,000 face-to-face visits per school year? When will they have the time to give students the proper attention they need, let alone record data, such as the data that I just shared with you, document all the findings, interventions, and have meaningful conversations with families? I've got another little paragraph on there that you're free to read if you'd like, and I have more copies if you guys would like them. But thank you for letting me speak, and I appreciate the consideration and support.
Thank you. Can I ask for public comment? I have Steve Stubbs.
Yes, thank you. I don't really need that. Thank you for letting me speak. I was going to say more, but it sounds like you're not going to cut people, so I'll just tell everybody here that I'm going to do my part and volunteer to sub 1 day per week for 36 weeks for free. That's $105 a day, which is almost $3,800. So I don't want anybody to take this as a challenge, but if you can get some more community members to do that 1 day per week, if we got 26 people to do that, that's $100,000 that you can save. So that's my part. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who came and did speak. And thank you for letting us shift around the agenda so that we could get some information before public comment. That leads us to the superintendent report. 9.1. Mrs. Hall.
I have 1 transfer, Brooke Ridley from elementary special education teacher to GT/innovations teacher. That doesn't need a vote, it's just for informational purposes. New hires, Brett Baker, custodian, and Lance Belanger, bus driver/custodian.
Okay. All right, thank you. Do we have anything for enclosures? Besides what's in our packet, nothing new. Other matters, we will start with you, Mr. Keating. Do you have anything? Luke? Thank you, Ms. McCall. All set? Okay. We do not have an executive session this evening. So that leads us to 13. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. And I do please, want to reiterate, please come to the budget meeting on July 1st, and we can answer any questions at that time. Thank you.